Happy holidays and welcome to What Matters Gulf Coast. My name is Susan Johnson and I'm the producer. V will be back at the beginning of the year when we resume our broadcasts. We want to thank you for a wonderful 2022, for our listeners who have just hung out with us and gotten this wonderful information from our guests, which I hope has helped you in some small way. On today's show, we have our health expert, Yolanda Long, and our mental health expert, Alicia Richardson. They will help you with tools that you can use to get through the holidays, because not everybody is celebrating the holidays. There are some difficulty that people are going through right now. So we're going to listen to what these ladies have in store for us to help us through the holidays. So without further ado, episode 75.
Hi, I would like to take this time to encourage you to make healthy choices in the new year. And here I'd like to share some basic tips and resources for how to maintain your healthy lifestyle, body weight, and overall well being while staying home and engaging in social distancing. If you're still doing that or practicing that, or while you're at work, school, out on fun days with the family. The first thing I would like you to do prior to beginning is to measure and watch your weight. Keep track of your body weight on a daily or weekly basis. I recommend weekly because your weight fluctuates day by day, but if you know what it is week to week and keep a track of it, you can see progress better. um, this it will help you see what you're losing and or what you're gaining. So that's a good tool to get started with. Limit unhealthy foods and eat healthy meals. Do not forget to eat breakfast and choose a nutritious meal with more protein and fiber and less fat, sugar, and calories. I would also like to encourage you um, to take a multivitamin every day to make sure you have sufficient levels of nutrients. Taking a daily multivitamin supplement is a good idea, especially when you do not have a variety of vegetables and fruits at home. Many micronutrients are vital to your immune system, including vitamins A, B6, B12, C, D, and E, as well as zinc, iron, copper, selenium, and magnesium. However, there's currently no available evidence that adding any supplements or miracle mineral supplements to your diet would help protect you from viruses or increase recovery times on viruses, diseases, or illnesses. In some cases, high doses of vitamins can be bad for your health. I want to encourage you to drink water and stay hydrated and limit sugar vegetable beverages. Drink water regularly to stay healthy, but there is no evidence that drinking water frequently, every 15 minutes, for example, can help prevent any viral infection. But it is good to flush your kidneys by drinking at least 1 glass of water every hour and at least 8 ounces, but don't overdo it. Exercise regularly and be physically active. At this time, at home workouts may be a good idea, but you can also walk your dog or run outside. Be sure you know what's going on in the area around you. Um, if the flu is prevalent in your area, or for instance, there's been a spike in coronavirus or RSV or any type of illnesses. Even though you're outside, you want to keep monitoring that. I encourage you to reduce sitting and screen time. Exercise can't immunize you from your sedentary time. Even people who exercise regularly can be at increased risk for diabetes and heart disease. and stroke if they spend a lot of time sitting behind computers. Practically speaking, you could consider taking breaks from sedentary time, such as walking around your office or walking around your house or around your room a couple of times. Elderly people who can't get outside, they normally walk around the inside of their house several times a day. Get enough sleep. There's a very strong connection between sleep quality and quantity in your immune system. You can keep your immune system functioning properly by getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. We recommend no less than 8 hours per night. I know the new year is coming in and everybody wants to have a good time and go to all of those holiday parties and Christmas parties and just family get togethers and bringing in New Year's. But go easy on alcohol and stay sober. Drinking alcohol does not protect you from um, any diseases or illnesses. We were taught when we were little to drink a hot toddy, and people would put alcohol in it. Those are they help you sleep, but they don't protect or prevent infection, illnesses, or disease. Don't forget that those alcohol calories can add up quickly. Alcohol should always be consumed in moderation. Find ways to manage your emotion. It is common for people to have feelings of fear, anxiety, and sadness and uncertainty during, especially holiday seasons, because most people think back on people they've lost during the year. So we want to keep our emotions in check. And the last thing that I would like to encourage you to do is use an app on your phone to keep a track of your movement, your sleep, and your heart rate. When we're beginning to exercise, make sure you stretch before you exercise. Make sure you do that and hold the position at least 45 seconds. Make sure you practice stretching on a routine basis. We don't want you to have any strains or any sprains from any of your new exercise regimens. Um, when you're eating, taste the rainbow. Eat bright colored fruits and vegetables that are high in antioxidants that gives a boost to your health by removing free radicals that damage your cells. So, like I spoke to earlier, those vitamins, minerals, and fiber that you need to get your digestive tract in check. Fiber is very important in a healthy digestive system. You could substitute natural foods for processed ones. You could also protect yourself from the sun. We talk about UV protection all the time and using sunscreen. So I want to encourage you, even though it's winter time and you may go outside for a walk, please continue to use that sunscreen. And last but not least, make sure you do your breathing exercises. Breathe in, breathe out. Make sure you hold those breaths 5 to 10 seconds, then release. This detoxifies the body and it also reduces stress. Remember, slow and steady. This is not a race. This is a marathon. So slow and steady. The goal is fitness and health and not weight loss. And be kind to yourself. You're going to make mistakes along the way. You may not hit your target. You may become stagnant or complacent, but always pick back up and get back at it again. You can do this, and I believe in you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and it is so wonderful to be here today to talk with you about what I think is an important topic during the holiday season, and that is managing stress during the holiday season, along with mental health. My name is Alicia Richardson. I am the owner and founder of Heart of the Matter Counseling. And it is my goal and my desire to talk to you about mental health. One of the things that has been kind of stirring in me over the last few weeks, especially right before Thanksgiving, was this idea that everyone experiences joy during the holidays. And, I don't know if we give that much thought, but that is far from the truth. Although it is a time that we have known to or recognize as happy holidays or Merry Christmas and, other ways of looking at this season, there are individuals who are not happy. There are individuals who are experiencing sadness. They are experiencing inner conflict, and they are not experiencing this joy. And so I think it's important to have this conversation that we talk about what do you do to cope with holiday? What do you do when you are experiencing sadness, when you are experiencing depression and everyone around you seems to be joyful? It's almost like, is there something wrong with me? Well, absolutely not. Because one of the things that makes sense is that as we reflect through this year, there have been many challenges, right? As we have come through pandemic and as we have experienced COVID, many people have lost loved ones. The loved ones that would be sitting around their table with them this holiday season. And so to think about those losses, that does not bring them joy. And I think that we as individuals have to be aware that everyone may not be experiencing this joy that we are talking about. And so, how do you handle the stress? How do you handle what may seem as a depression? Um, there are things that you as an individual can do. And one of the most important things is to find a trusted person that you can sit with and have a conversation and talk out your feelings. The one of the things that I think is one of the biggest challenges is trust. People don't know who they can talk to. People don't want to share their innermost thoughts and feelings with even their friends and family because there is a fear of being judged, right? And so to think about either seeking out mental health services through a professional counselor, or going to your pastor and receiving pastoral counseling, are ways that you can sit in a space without judgment and deal with your thoughts and your feelings. And when you're when you're in your lowest moments, being able to come up out of that and say, hey, I need help. I need someone to talk to. Understanding that the process is not an overnight fix. It's not a quick fix. It's a process. And so what do you do in the process? You put strategies in place. You could put stress coping strategies in place. You eat properly. You eat nutritiously. You limit your sugar intake. You increase your water intake. You're mindful of your sleep, making sure that you're getting enough rest. You're getting off of your cell phones, turning off your televisions, and allowing your body to fully go into a state of rest. You're not consuming alcohol, but I know that many people do. And so you want to limit your consumption of alcohol. You want to limit your or reduce or really take away your consumption of things that are not natural for your body, because we're talking about wellness and mental health and taking care of yourself and managing stress. during a time when most people are smiling. And that's another thing. People are smiling. And just because you see someone smile does not mean that they're happy. And so we just need to be more cognizant of those around us and be more caring as individuals, because everyone smiling in your face and around you may not be happy. That may be a coping skill that they put on this face in front of others, and behind closed doors, their thoughts are a lot different. Their feelings are a lot different. They may feel lonely. They may feel depressed. They may not feel like they have anyone that they can reach out to. And we just really need to be more aware of those around us. One of the other challenges I think that when we talk about mental health is, we really want to, or I really want to dispel this myth of mental health and that it's a bad thing, because there is a difference between mental health and mental illness. And another challenge I think that I take on is mental health and the church, because a lot of times we have these thoughts and we have these feelings, and people tell us we're wrong and we need to go somewhere and pray. And I am an advocate for prayer. I am a believer. I think that I do spend time with my Creator. I also believe that in life we have these experiences that we don't always demonize. When we are sick and go to the doctor and we have to take medication for a cold or a flu, we don't demonize that. We don't say you need to go somewhere and pray because you have demons. When we've gone to the doctor and we have been diagnosed with a medical disorder, it is not demonized. But the moment that we say we have issues and we need to have a conversation because you're not feeling well mentally, all of a sudden it's something different. I know growing up, one of the things that I heard a lot was, what goes on in this house stays in this house. Also, if you have problems, just pray about it. And so I recognize that that way of thinking has created a stigma for individuals seeking wellness. When you're sitting at home and you're worried about how you're going to pay your light bills, or you're worried about your teenagers because they're, out there and out of control. Yes, we pray about those things, but we also need to sit down with someone and talk with them about creating strategies to get through those challenges. Another thing I like to focus on sometimes is, when we talk about financial situations, they can be a burden, they can be burdensome. But I think sometimes that burden is something that is created because of our financial illiteracy, not really understanding the power of the dollar, and not really understanding that we have to be responsible for how we spend our money. Are we making good choices? Are we making wise choices when we are spending our money? If we get $100 and we know that we have a light bill that's due, but yet we want to take that $100 and we want to go and do other things with it than pay the light bill, that will be stressful, because now you have to figure out how you're going to keep your lights on. And so we have to just think about how all of the things that we are doing can really create a stressful life environment. And when that stressful life environment gets too heavy or too big, what are some of the choices that we make to deal with it? Do we go down in the dark hole? Do we, does it become so burdensome that, we don't know what to do? So a lot of the things that we're challenged with, if we would just sit down with someone that we can trust, they can help you work out some of those challenges and create a plan, create a life plan, create a stress management plan, create a coping plan. Identify that person or persons in your life that you can sit down with and have honest, authentic conversations. Part of the problems that we have is because we don't have people that we talk to, and two, because we put on that face, that mask, that smile that says everything okay and everything is not okay. So finding that person that you can just really regurgitate, get all of that junk that you're holding on the inside out. There is freedom in conversation, in true, authentic conversation, because now you can think about your thoughts out loud as opposed to rehearsing them in your mind over and over again, like ruminating, just sitting there. And as you hear those things over and over again, it becomes burdensome. And so what we want to offer, what counselors want to offer, is a space that you can sit and have a conversation without judgment, but by providing support to offer you an opportunity to think about your best life and how you create that. An opportunity for you to get through the holidays, to think about, what can I do when I'm feeling this way so I don't have to feel this way so long. I think that all feelings are normal. Sadness is normal. Grief is a normal expression of when we've lost someone. These are all normal. Anger is normal. Frustration is normal. And so what we have to do is we have to normalize these feelings because they're normal. It's normal to get frustrated when, this doesn't add up to that, or this doesn't turn out the way that you wanted it to turn out. That's normal. But what you do about that frustration, that makes the difference. What we do about everything makes the difference. When we're sad, sadness is normal. There are times when we are going to be sad because of situations. But what do we do with that? It's okay to sit in your sadness for a moment. I bet you nobody has ever told you that. It's okay to cry when you are sad. It's okay to withdraw for a moment when you are sad. But when you have withdrawn for a long period of time, when you have withdrawn away from others and that's not normal for you, then it's time to think, I need someone to talk to. So what I'm hoping that I'm putting out today, I know my topic was dealing with stress in the holidays, focusing on mental health, but I wanted to touch on all of those factors. And I didn't touch on all of them, but I touched on some of those factors that can add stress. I touched on one of the things that I think is probably one of the most important things that you can do, and that's seek someone out to sit with and have a conversation. Someone that you trust, that your business is not going to be running rampant in the street, but someone that will sit with you with their heart and hear what you are saying. Because one of the things I believe is we all have something to offer. But based on our belief system, sometimes we don't feel that we do. And we put our values in other things. And we think other things make us who we are. This flesh and blood was created just as it is. Things don't make you. Okay? Your accomplishments don't make you. So if you should lose a job, that does not make you. If you should not have enough money to pay your bill, that doesn't make you. Why? Because the sun is going to shine tomorrow as long as we're still here, right? And so that means another opportunity. And so the opportunity is to sit down and to create a plan so that you can address some of the issues that you are experiencing. So if you are sad, let's talk about that. Where does that sadness come from? It comes from somewhere. But if you're not willing to talk about it, people can't help you. But if you sit down with someone that is skilled enough to listen, because listening is an art, that will listen to you, then together you can come up with a solution to help you through the problem. And I want to emphasize through, because people think, okay, let me go see this counselor. Let me go sit down and talk to somebody. My problem's going to go away right away. Absolutely not. And I don't want you to sit and think that you go sit with a counselor or you sit with your pastor or you sit with your friends, that they have the solution for your problem. You have the solution for your problem. What we offer is a space for you to talk through your problem. As you talk through your problem, you come up with solutions that work for you. And the value of that is, if you came to me and you said, you know, I'm experiencing sadness, I could say, get on down to that beach, sit on by that water, sit there and let the water take all that sadness away. And you could say to me, that's not my jive. So what works for me does not work for you. But in us having the conversation, you're then able to think about, well, here are some things that I do enjoy. I enjoy going to the gym. I enjoy reading books. I enjoy listening to music. I enjoy walking. So then that becomes part of your strategy for solution. Implement those things. Is it going to take sadness away? Absolutely not. But what it's going to do is it's going to put some strategies in your life. You're going to do some things that are different, and it's going to take your thoughts away from focusing only on the thing that's causing you to be sad. Because sometimes we don't have control over the things that cause us to be sad, but we can put strategies in place so our focus is not on sadness all day, every day. When you lose a loved one, I've lost loved ones. And as a result of me losing loved ones, my heart is sad, right? But if I sit around and think about the loss of my loved ones, I'm going to stay sad. Life is still going on around me, but I am living in sadness. I choose to experience sadness, but I choose to live life. So what does that look like? It looks like I create a plan for my day every day. I'm going to get up, and these are the things that I'm going to do. And in me doing so, am I going to experience sadness? Maybe, because I'm going to think about that which I've lost, right? But I'm going to refocus, and I'm going to get back to doing something to promote my wellness, to promote my wholeness, right? So it's not about sitting down with someone. Is never about fixing you. It's never about changing you. It's never about stopping what is happening. But what it is about is creating a plan, creating strategies for success, for your wellness, for your well-being, for your ability to focus on your day to day. Okay. So, I hope that this information has been helpful. I wanted to also talk about young people, right? Because young people are often unaddressed. Young people have thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and it starts when we're in utero. Okay, we come out of this world, and we're engaging with people. We're learning how to deal with our issues. We're learning how to just live life by those that we watch around us. We pick up our behaviors from those that are around us, right? And so as we get older, from babies to teenage years, we know that teenagers really could benefit to have someone to talk to, because teenagers in this day and age have a lot of experiences that are uncomfortable for them. One of the things that we know is that in schools, there are bullies, and bullies, they are mean. And the thing about a mean bully, I guess those two are synonymous, right? But the thing about them is they hurt other people. And the people that they hurt often do not have skills to cope with the pain that they feel. When they've been bullied, that person who is being bullied often feels helpless. And what we have seen as a result of that is young people taking their lives because they cannot handle the meanness of the world around them. So it becomes our responsibility to be mindful, to be careful with our youth, to pay attention to our youth, to give our youth skills to be successful in managing their emotions, to be successful in managing the world around them. That becomes our responsibility. It becomes our responsibility to teach them how to advocate for themselves, to teach them how to speak up. Maybe not to the bully, because a bully is a bully and they're mean, but to find someone that they can talk to, that can support them, that can help them and strengthen them so that they can handle, the situation, and that maybe someone bigger than them, wiser than them, stronger than them can help them through this situation with the bully. I really want to encourage you today. And I know I went to a whole nother situation, but just thinking about our young people and some of the challenges that they have and the choices that they make, because they don't have the knowledge and the capacity to know the things that they should and could do to help them through difficult times, right? It becomes our responsibility to be mindful of that. So if there are any young people here listening, watching, seeing this later, talk to your school counselor. Reach out to your school counselor. They should be an individual that is there to support you, help you talk to your parents, because maybe counseling is something that they might need, and their parents can seek out services for them. We must not forget our youth, because they are our future. They are the next generation, and they need the skills. And while I'm on my soapbox, I have this soapbox for a minute. Let me say this to all of you. Put your phones down for at least half an hour a day. If you have children, engage with your children. Have conversations with your children. Think about when you were a teenager, how you wished or desired to have that person sit with you and talk with you, whether it was your grandmother, your aunt, your uncle, whoever that person might be for you. Give that to our little people. Give them someone that they can talk to, that they can trust. Because when they have that one, when they have life challenges and situations, they'll have that one that they can go to and talk to and get advice and guidance from a wise soul, not just someone off the street, but someone who has their best interest at heart. So now that I've put myself out there, I'll kind of pull back, get back to the topic at hand. We were talking about stress during the holiday, thinking about your mental health. But when you think about your mental health, don't forget our young people, because our young people need you to teach them how to manage their mental health. And if you don't know, seek out a counselor, seek out someone skilled to sit with you and just help you figure out a plan for yourself.
People who struggle with mental illness, one thing they can do to, help themselves in a way is to reach out to others and help them, because there's some competencies they have that they can share with others to help them through whatever they're going through. Not necessarily the same thing they're going through, unless they're whole and healed in that area. But whatever competencies they have, whatever skills, whatever gifts they have, they can help someone who's struggling in that area. That gets that person who's struggling in the mental health side out of that.
Mm-hmm.
it releases them from their angst, and says, well, oh, I can relieve somebody else's pain by helping them through this area or that area, whatever. And
Yeah.
I think that for me, that's helped a lot, because I'm a helper. I like to assist. I
Mm,
like to share my knowledge, and that's something that I do naturally now.
yeah.
But I didn't realize it was helping me when I helped other people,
Oh my
until,
goodness.
like, right, I forgot about why I was even depressed or sad, because I'm over here helping them with whatever things that they're dealing with, and
Well,
now they're better, so I'm better, those type
yes,
of
you're
things. So
refocusing though. You're
refocus,
refocusing this. Yes. It's
yes,
not that that situation is not there. It's just
right,
that you're refocusing where your attention is going.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, that has helped me a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And in music too. Another thing that
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
refocuses you.
Oh, yeah.
Um, a good song back in the day in the 90s. And something, I have spiritual songs too, but Bad Boy Having a Party from Luther Vandross always gets me out of a bad mood.
Okay.
Ah,
You know what?
yeah.
I love music, and music is therapy for me,
Yes.
So it is but it's intentional, Miss Susan. It's
Mhm.
intentional. It's an act of intentionality. And
Yeah.
that's the thing that we have to recognize.
Mm-hmm.
It's when we get in a place, when we get in a dark place, we have to know what we enjoy. And
Yeah.
when we find that out, we can say, okay, I'm going to sit down with some. Now, listen, I'm not making light of, of the situation. But like you said, I like Luther, so I can relate. I could be sitting there wanting to think about being sad.
Yep.
And I can put that Luther on and he can sing that house is not a home or whatever that song
Ooh.
is. And I'll be like, oh, yes, now. So, see,
I
it's
know.
changed my whole mood, right?
Yes,
It
absolutely.
hasn't changed what's going on around me, but how
Absolutely.
I am interpreting in this moment, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
feels good. And
Yeah.
so the thing that people have to understand, Miss Susan, is when we're talking about our bodies, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can go into a ring and fight, but the
Yes.
fight can only be for so long.
Mm-hmm.
When we stay in that place of stress and depression, it's a wear and tear on our physical body,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But when we find that thing that can lift us up and bring us enjoyment, guess what? That's our ding, ding, ding. We in the
Yeah.
corner. What do the
Yeah.
boxers do
Yeah.
when they go in the corner? They get
Yeah.
it, whew, they get their
Recharge.
body, they recharge, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
when you
Mm-hmm.
want to sit back in that thing of hardness,
Mm-hmm.
your body, it's not a continual beat down. It
Yeah.
is a beat down with a break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And eventually you might get to the point of, well, darn, I was doing okay over. Wait a minute, I'm done with this fight. What we
Right.
throw up the flag? I'm going back
Right.
into this music because it's doing what I needed to do for right now.
And
So
yeah. Yeah.
that's the beauty of it. And you're absolutely right. The thing about it, though, I think each and every one of us is born with a gift. Each and every one of us is
Mm-hmm.
born with the gift that we have to share and give to the world. I have
Absolutely.
met individuals who have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
Mm-hmm.
I've met individuals who've been diagnosed with schizophrenia. I've met, people who have had these diagnoses, but when they are well, excuse me, their production level is awesome and amazing.
Okay.
Artist, talented,
Mm-hmm.
gifted. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why for me, now I can't speak for someone who is diagnosed with bipolar, but for me, I choose to deal with the individual, not the disorder, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
some people will label other people as, oh, they just bipolar. Well, no, that's Johnny. Johnny is living with bipolar, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what are we going to do is
Right.
we want to give Johnny the tools so he can be successful. One of the things that we know is that medications can help.
Yes.
When medications help, Johnny is functioning. And when he's functioning, he is like at the top of the world. I mean, whatever his gifts are, they manifest
Come out.
in a big way, So, yeah.
Let's speak on that. What would you say to someone who says that the pills and the other therapies like that they may think that it dulls their senses or makes them a zombie? Say something to them. What would you say to them about those therapies and how it can help, or why they shouldn't think that way about it?
Well, I'm never going to tell them why they shouldn't think anyway
Okay.
about anything, because they have reasons for thinking what they're thinking and why they're thinking it. But
Okay.
what I will say is have a conversation with your primary care physician or your psychologist, or your psychiatrist is the one who's prescribing. So whoever is prescribing the medications, have the conversation about what you're feeling in your body, because every medication does not do the same thing for everybody. Even though, just like for high blood pressure medication, there are several high blood pressure medications out there. Yes. You may take one of those medications and it may dull your senses. It may make you feel sick to your stomach. So you go back to your doctor and say, this is how this is making me feel. It doesn't make me feel good. What is that doctor going to do? He's either going to look at the dosage that you're being prescribed, or he's going to consider another medication designed to do what you needed to do for your body. So if you never have that conversation with that prescriber, then they're not sitting in your house with you 24/7. They don't know what's going on with you. And if you don't reach out, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to be like, you know what, screw this medication. I'm not going to take this medication anymore, which is not going to help you to feel well. Or you're going to try to self-medicate, another problem. Many people are trying to self-regulate. And so I think first, to answer your question, Ms. Susan, I think it's important that we recognize that people are going to school to learn these different strategies, tools, and medications, right? They're learning how to help people, but you can't help someone who does not communicate with you. And so it becomes the ownership of the individual to take to them. I know my primary care provider, I probably get on his nerves, because you give me this medication. This is how it's making me feel. I don't feel better. Okay. So I was like, okay, Miss Richardson, try this, and it's okay. He can roll his eyes. He can do whatever, have any kind of feelings and thoughts he wants, just as long as he's considering my health when he's writing that prescription. Right. Yeah. And so to answer your question, I think that's really important, because there are people who don't believe in medications, and that's fine. I would say, if you don't believe in medications, do your work. Do your homework, do some research, look up natural. I'm not opposed to naturopathic care either, because I do believe that there are things that are in this earth designed to help. And what we take, and I just had this conversation, Miss Susan, and it tickles me, and you may be able to relate. Right. Back in the day, when people got sick, most people that I know in my heritage went to the garden. Can you relate to that?
Yes, I can relate to that. Yes.
They went to the garden and whatever, and they knew. And I think that is so my appeal is to anybody out there with knowledge on those old school tricks and remedies, to share that, because that's a lost art. I recall, I laughed when I first came to the South. My daughter was younger, and she had this really bad tummy ache. And I laughed because, I'm a young mom. I don't know nothing. So young moms, I'm talking to you. We don't have all the answers. We need help. And so my father-in-law went in the kitchen and started scrapping stuff together. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, he gonna kill my baby, because he putting all that stuff together. The only saving grace that I had was, well, this is his grandchild. He love her, so he ain't gonna hurt her. So I shut my mouth and I backed up. And then I was thinking, oh my gosh, what is he doing? He put this concoction together. He gave it to my baby, and within 30 minutes, she was feeling better.
Okay.
And so I thought about,
I said, don't knock it. You tried
Look,
it.
well, I was young. I didn't have that, awareness to,
Yeah.
I was westernized. I
Yeah.
was go to the store and you get some medication and you take it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get better.
Mm-hmm.
You going and pulling stuff out your
That's
shelf
good.
and pulling stuff out the garden. What are you doing, right? But as I've become older and really thoughtful about just taking care of this gift, which is our body,
Mm-hmm.
and thinking about my creator who created all this, who knew
Yeah.
what the body needed.
Yes.
Um, if we only tap into what is already out there and available and natural.
Right.
So I don't knock anyone for, a long answer for a short question.
That's okay.
I don't knock anyone for having concerns.
Mm-hmm.
About some of the choices of their providers, but what I
Mm-hmm.
do encourage is education.
Yeah.
Educate yourself and have that conversation with your provider. You're owed that conversation. You paying your copay
I
so
know.
you at least owe the
Yes.
conversation, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Paying
Yes,
for it. Yes.
yes.
All right. Thank you, Alicia. I don't know. What could I say? This was a great show.
Thank you.
Your amazing value that you've shared with us today is incredible. And I pray that it helps those who are blessed enough to catch it. All right. Well, we're going to end here. And I'm Susan. I didn't introduce myself, but I'm Susan with What Matters Gulf Coast. And we thank you guys for joining us this entire year of 2022. It has been an amazing ride this year, and we're glad to sort of end it with these topics that we're ending with: health and mental health. So we hope to see you in the next year. We're praying for all of you who are going through this Christmas season and into the holidays and in everyday life, really. But there is a way out, and we're praying that you will hear the voice of God in your life and find that way out in Jesus Christ, because He is the reason for the season. And well, we're going to end here. And thank you very much. What Matters Gulf Coast is out.